What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of See It Like Strev. We just wrapped up another fantastic week of CFL football. We got backups stepping up. We got last-minute finishes. We got a little bit of everything. But first, let's address where I'm at. You've been seeing me at home with the plants in the background. We got real-life nature back here. I'm in Winnipeg. I was at their game Friday night. Got to do some radio stuff in the city. Got to see some former teammates, some friends. It's always great to be back in this city. I did a signing on Friday at the tailgate before the game, and they had the Grey Cup out, so got to hang out with the keeper of the Cup, Jeff, great guy. But I just want to say how amazing this CFL community is. The way that people show up and not only support their team, but support the league is special. I've never been around anything like it. As I was walking through the city and at the game and out and about with my family, I had several people, more than one, come up to me and just say how much they love what I'm doing for the league, how much they really enjoy the content. And honestly, guys, I can't even tell you how much that means to me, putting myself out there in a new way, transitioning out of the game into this new endeavor. I hope everyone out there knows how much your positive words and encouragement mean to me. It's truly, truly energizing. And it's what keeps me going down this path that I'm on right now. So thank you guys so much for the love and support. And I love the CFL community. I love this league. I love this game. Let's get into this week's games because there was some really, really exciting stuff going on. Thursday night, we had BC going to Calgary, and BC pulls it out 30-26. And it feels like BC's on this classic late season run that they've seemed to go on the last couple years. They moved to 4-5, and they actually passed Calgary in the West. Nathan Rourke's back. 301 yards, a couple touchdowns, and I hope you guys all saw that throw. He's rolling out to his right, hit Jermaine Jackson over the top of the defense down to the 1 yard line. That was an absolutely silly throw, and it's just great to see those type of plays from Nathan Rourke, getting back to himself as he comes off an injury, making plays like that off schedule, pushing the ball down the field. He does that just as well as anybody else in the league, and with Nathan Rourke coming back, we're seeing McInnes and Hatcher both get going. Hatcher has 2 touchdowns, and McInnes puts up some good numbers again. And you can just see there's a pep in this offensive step having Nathan Rourke back out there. He just gives them an edge. And I know they kind of had some back and forth at the quarterback position with Chase Bryce and Caden Salter, but now that they have their guy back, the whole team benefits off that. It's not just offensively, it's defensively, it's special team. They know they got their guy, and they know if they can keep it close, they're going to have a chance to win every single football game with Nathan Rourke out there. And shout out to the BC defense. They've played pretty well the last couple weeks. I commended them last week on their game plan against Hamilton. They come out this week, hold Calgary to 26 points, which it's almost like this year, it's a race to 30 points. Who can score 30 points is going to win the ball game. That's what BC did. They got the late takeaway while Calgary was making that drive at the end of the game. Calgary goes down to the 10-yard line, and they throw the interception. BC takes it away and seals the victory for the Lions. And it's pretty unbelievable when you look at Calgary and what's happened with their season. They showed a graphic during the game, and this game held true. They have lost every single game in the last 3 minutes or overtime. They're a good football team. I believe that. They're better than 4-6, but they got to put it all together. The last couple weeks, you've seen issues with this team where they haven't been able to put together a 3-phase football game, but we've seen what happens when they do. So for Calgary, it's just regroup. Let's get back to taking care of the football, being sound defensively, getting an explosive on special teams. Tyreek McAllister, he's due for another big one soon. I still think Calgary is better than 4-6, and they're going to continue to be a player in this West race down the stretch. VA took a really scary hit his head on the ground. I hope he's doing okay. Calgary also had Dedrick Mills leave the game as well, so 2 of their best players on offense left the football game. I still think Calgary has a great defense, one of the best defensive lines in the CFL. And I think they're going to continue to be, once again, a player down the stretch in this West playoff race as the season moves forward here. Friday night, as I said, I was at this game. Ottawa went to Winnipeg. Winnipeg wins 33-21, and this was a must-win game for Winnipeg, especially looking at their schedule coming up. They go to Edmonton, they've got Montreal, and then they go Sask back-to-back. So you're essentially going to play the 3 best teams in the CFL in the next 4 weeks. They needed to get this one done, get a win in front of their home crowd, and that's exactly what they did. A game like this against an 0-8 Ottawa team is a tough situation because you almost feel like it's kind of a lose-lose. Unless you go blow that team out, it's really never going to be enough. If you go lose that game, okay, people are really hitting the panic button. If you don't win convincingly enough, it's like, well, you should have beat Ottawa, right? So if you're Winnipeg, I said this a lot in the pregame, is just you have to find a way to get momentum going for your football team, and that means just go get a win. Whatever that looks like, go get it done, and that's what they did. Was it perfect? No, but they found a way to get it done, get that momentum going in the right direction, especially as they get into a tough part of their schedule. What I like from Winnipeg offensively, I liked the balance between the run and the pass. The Ottawa defense was dropping back deep when Winnipeg was having to drop back and throw the football. That forced them to throw a lot of checkdowns, to take underneath throws. And that's why you see Brady Oliveira go for 80 yards receiving in the football game. He had an awesome game. He went crazy. He was questionable, got banged up this week in practice, weren't sure if they were going to play. He ends up with 154 total yards and a touchdown. I think it's clear that he's the best player on this team right now, and they got to keep finding creative ways to get him engaged in the offense, whether that's through the passing game or riding him in the run game. It was also great to see Zach Collaros back out there for Winnipeg. And it's not just about what he does on the field, but again, you talk about Nathan Rourke being back for BC. It's the same thing with Zach. He brings a leadership and a presence to that team that they just believe, and he brings an edge to them. He is the OG. He is a Hall of Famer, one of the best guys in our league. It's just always good for the CFL when he's out on the field, and you see it. Winnipeg kind of lets Ottawa hang around, but what happens at the end of the game? Zach Collaros to Nick Dembski, hits him on a deep one, sets up the wedge touchdown to put him up 2 scores late in the game and essentially seal the game. That's 2 veteran legends in Winnipeg with Zach and Dembski making a big play at the end of games to close it out and go win. And that's what you have in Winnipeg. You have a team, although they may not be as good as they've been in some past years, they have a team that knows how to win these close football games, and it was good to see them getting back to doing that. But you can't let good teams hang around like they did with Ottawa. A better team will make them pay. So they got to find ways to close out games. But again, they got it done. They got this thing moving in the right direction. But if you're looking at Ottawa, man, it's a lot of the same song and dance. Like, no run game. They're hanging around the football game, don't know how to go make that play to really make it tight and give themselves a chance to win. They need to commit to the run game. The defense needs to find a way to get a stop. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you move to 0-9. You're not going to make the playoffs. If you're that front office and that organization, starting to look for guys and say, okay, who's going to continue to fight for this football team, even when it's not looking great, and start trying to plan around some of those guys for the future here, moving into next season. So shout out to Winnipeg getting that win this week, getting in the right direction, going into a tough part of their schedule. On Saturday, the first game of our doubleheader, Toronto went to Edmonton. Edmonton gets it done 42-12. And it was a really close game. It was 14-9 early in the third quarter. And Edmonton just goes on and scores 30 unanswered points in the second half. Toronto giving away the football. They fumble on special teams. They fumble on offense. They throw a pick six. They get stopped on 2 third and ones. 2 third and ones. I'll say it again. I have been harping on the 3rd and 1s. These are game-changing plays, and they're a team that's struggled with it throughout the year. They got to find a way to put more emphasis on those plays because they are losing games on these 3rd and 1s. Looking over at Edmonton, Rankin goes for 107 all-purpose yards, and what he did a great job catching the ball out the backfield. Finding a way to get involved in this offense, even when the run game, teams are obviously keying on stopping the run game for him, but he found a way to get involved. He was catching the ball out of the backfield, lined up wide, but also free releasing out of the backfield. And what I love from Rankin was the 2-play sequence in the 3rd quarter. He has that big catch down the middle, over the shoulder, taking a hit. Fantastic catch for a receiver. Outstanding catch for a running back. And then right after, they hand him the ball and he punches it in from the 8-yard line. I just want to say this about Justin Rankin. He was an early season MOP candidate through like 4 or 5 weeks. The run game has slowed down a little bit for Edmonton, but I just want to say the mental perseverance to be able to stay locked in and find a way to provide value for your team and help them go get a win, even if it's in the pass game. Shout out to Justin Rankin, man. I know you're a great football player, but you showed me a lot about your mentality and the type of teammate that you are stepping up for Edmonton the way that you did on Saturday. Fajardo, he's a serious MOP candidate. He goes for over 351 yards rushing. He broke off a pretty long run. He showed me a little bit of burst, a little bit of giddy up that we haven't seen from Fajardo. But it's crazy when you look at Fajardo and Davis. They're the top 2 MOP candidates in the league right now, in my opinion. Wild to think that they were both on Montreal, how talented that quarterback room was. But Fajardo finding ways to lead this team with his legs, with his arms. He is having an outstanding season, probably the best of his career. But the thing about this Edmonton offense is they're spreading the ball around. They had 5 guys. Now, this might be kind of an interesting, confusing stat, but they had 5 guys with between 4 and 6 catches and between 47 and 61 yards. So 5 guys with about 4 to 6 catches that are going for about 50 yards on offense. That is great. That is a great job offensively of spreading the ball around, schematically, getting different players involved. Edmonton moves back to first in the West. They are a legit team and a contender. You go against a Toronto team that you should beat and you handle business like that. That shows the league that, hey, we've had a tough schedule. We've had a little bit of a rough run here these last couple games, but we're legit and we can compete and we will beat the teams and win the games that we are supposed to win. And that's what great teams do. Looking over at Toronto, they're an explosive team, but it's always just been turnovers and mistakes for this team, especially in the last couple weeks. They've turned it over 9 times in the last 2 games. That's just not winning football. It's very, very difficult to win games when you're doing that. They have the talent. They have a great receiving core. Chad Kelly can throw the ball down the field as well as anybody, but they just have to clean it up because they're still in contention for a home playoff game in the East. And so to do that, just got to play cleaner football and put it all together. The reason they're still in contention for a home playoff game in the East, they got to clean it up, is because Sask went to Hamilton, and Hamilton won 26-19. I think this was a game that surprised a lot of people. I think the people that were picking the CFL games all had Sask winning unanimously, but Hamilton gets it done at home and surprises everyone. And I've been saying all year how talented this team is, but the revolving door at quarterback has just been wild, and this week was no different. They start Harrison Frost. He goes 12 for 16, 112 yards, and a touchdown. Should have been 2. Hit Kenny Lawler on the little bender. You never see Kenny drop those balls. He'll be right back to Kenny Lawler next week, but should have been 2 touchdowns for Harrison Frost. He played solid, and I like what I'm seeing for him, settling into his first consistent play in the CFL over the last couple weeks. I think his career and this season is definitely trending in the right direction for him. I liked what I saw. This was his best game so far. Unexpectedly, 8 minutes left in the third quarter, they pull Harrison Frost. Trey Ford comes in. He goes 13 for 17, 151 yards and a touchdown. Again, that could have been 2, and 38 more yards on the ground. Shout out to Trey Ford, man, showing up big time when his number was called. It's kind of been a crazy year for him, but being ready when his number was called really said a lot about him and his preparation. The Hamilton Blue Bombers and their receiving core. Yeah, the Hamilton Blue Bombers. Carrick Weekfall goes for over 100, has that amazing touchdown catch to give them the lead in the second half. Myron Mitchell, a lot of people didn't know about him. I knew about him. We had him in camp a couple years on the Bombers, and he's just a playmaker. He's tough. He does what it takes, and you could see him showing up for this offense. He has 57 yards and a touchdown. And then Kenny Lawler, I think he only had 22 yards, but he had some opportunities. I have no doubt that he will start getting more involved in that offense in the coming weeks. That Hamilton defense is really good, too. They gave up only 6 points in the second half. They're getting pressure, showing different looks on defense. They've got Stavros at free safety, who's the best free safety in the league. They made a lot of plays in the second half. I think they only, again, hold Sask to 6 points. On Sask, looking at their side of the ball, shout out to Hale, their kicker. There's been a lot of conversation around the kicking position for them. He played really good, made some big kicks for them. The Sask defense, they showed a lot of different looks, bringing pressure. If you're playing Trey Ford on second down, just drop back into coverage, drop 8, try to contain him in the pocket because he's deadliest when he's off schedule, moving around, stepping up in the pocket. He had some big scrambles to move the chains for them as well. That offense on Sask just couldn't finish in the second half against that Hamilton defense. Again, they played well. They forced takeaways and made plays and got pressure at times. That Hamilton defense rallies to the ball. Sask is going to be okay. They're still right there in the race in the West, and it's going to be a dogfight down the stretch here. Let's get to the most prestigious award in the CFL, the SEEIN Award. And look, the SEEIN Award, this award isn't always about who throws for the most yards and the most touchdowns. It's about who's seeing it, who's staying locked in, even when things aren't going your way. And this dude has been on a roller coaster year so far, but this week when his number was called, unexpectedly, he delivered. Coming in the second half, 8 minutes left in the third quarter, he completes 76% of his passes, 151 yards and a touchdown. It could have been 2 touchdowns. He adds another 38 yards on the ground and leads his team to a second half comeback against the top team in the West. Trey Ford, way to step up when your number was called. You showed me a lot about your mentality, your way to push through adversity and continue to be a leader for this football team. Keep making plays when your opportunities come. You were seeing it this weekend, man. Let's look ahead to this week's slate of games. We got Thursday. Ottawa's going to Montreal. Montreal's going to be fresh coming off their bye week. They look like the best team in the league. Davis Alexander, Tyson Philpott, Sneed, they are all rolling. It's going to be tough for Ottawa to go into Montreal and get a win. If they want to do that, they are going to have to generate explosives on defense, takeaways on defense, generate an explosive on special teams, and really find ways to flip the field because that's going to be a tough one for them sitting at 0-9 going into the best team in the league's barn. Friday night, we got Winnipeg going to Edmonton. I'm very interested in this game because Winnipeg has a chance to prove that they are the team that they look like they are on paper, and they're headed in the right direction. If they go into Edmonton, they show, hey, we're still the Winnipeg Blue Bombers that everyone knows, and we can make a push in this West playoff race. If you're Edmonton, you can continue to distance yourself from the rest of the pack if they can go get it done versus Winnipeg on Friday. Saturday, we got Hamilton going to Toronto. Big rivalry game here. And this is going to be a big game for Hamilton to try to overtake Toronto for second in the West. And these teams are going to be going hard because they both see, hey, we have an opportunity to get a home playoff game. It's looking like there's going to be a crossover. So they're really fighting for their playoff lives already early, especially with the way that the West looks like it's going to be shaken out. I would love to see a great turnout of fans at Toronto. I love hearing that they're improving the game day atmosphere. It looked like a decent turnout last week for their home opener. That's a city that should be able to consistently get 20,000 people. I mean, you got 5 million people in that metro. Can we get 20,000 people to that Toronto game and make that a great game day atmosphere? They got $40 all you can eat in the upper deck. I would love to see that city continue to get their fan base engaged behind that team. If Toronto can clean up their turnovers on offense, they're always going to have a chance because they are very explosive. And then looking over at Hamilton, what offense is going to show up because their defense has been solid. If their offense can continue to finish drives in the end zone, they're going to be a dangerous team to potentially get a home playoff game in the East as well. We finish off the weekend Sunday. Sask goes to BC. This is a big game in the West because BC is going to be able to show us, are they really a contender to get this momentum building coming off this 2-game win streak? Are they really a contender in the West to potentially find their way into the playoffs, not as a crossover team? I think they're always going to be dangerous with Nathan Rourke at quarterback. Sask tied for first. They want to keep pace with Edmonton, who also has a tough game on Friday. So Sask is really going to want to go get this win against BC and continue to, again, separate themselves from the rest of the pack. Guys, we're over halfway through the CFL season. The playoff race in the West is heating up. We're seeing the potential of some teams and what happens when you can play sound three-phase football. Anybody can win any game on any given weekend. That's what I love about the CFL. That's what I love about this league. But most importantly, I love you guys for your support, all the support, the appreciation, the comments, the likes, the subscriptions, everything, guys. I need you guys to know how much it truly means to me. So keep it coming. You know I'm going to respond to you guys, engage with you guys. Let's keep building this league up, supporting our great team, supporting our great players. And as always, guys, that's how you see it like Strev.